Hello friends, I'm Dr. Vivek and today we are going to discuss a very important unit, that is unit number 5, UGC NTA net exam. In the unit number 5, it's related to language. So today we are going to I'm going to talk about the language portion, which is unit number 5. In unit number 5 we have uh, the nomenclature of this unit is language, basic concepts, theories, and pedagogy, English in use. This is the unit we are going to discuss today. And basically, it's a language portion, and if we say in language, uh, what is language? The first question arises is what is language? What do you mean by language? Because we are studying this unit talks about language, and first of all, we have to understand the language. Language basically means of communication through which you communicate what you want to say, what you want to express. Uh, you, you use language to express your emotions, to feelings, ideas. Without language, you cannot express your emotions, feelings, ideas. So it is language basically is a language is a means of communication. So this language we are going to discuss as a means of communication. Language is used by human beings, though the animals also use some kind of communication as a medium of communication, but we are not able to understand that, so we cannot say they use language. Though there is a medium, but we are not able to understand what's all about what they are talking, so we cannot say they are using language. Language has a system of communication. Basically, it has a system, and that we are going to study what is this system all about. So, in this portion, we are going to talk about the system of communication. Language means basically we communicate through verbal or non-verbal. We communicate through written or through verbal discourse. We communicate, and there is we use non-verbal as well. Sometimes without a language, uh, without language, we communicate through our gestures, through our postures, through our expressions. So we also we this is also a way of communication. uh, Language, if we talk about the definitions of language, I'm going to talk about two important definitions of language. First by Noam Chomsky, and second is Encyclopedia Britannica. So two definitions of languages I'm going to talk about. First is Noam Chomsky, which is given in 1957. It says language is a set of sentences. Language is a set of sentences, uh, finite or infinite sentences, each finite in length and constructed out of the finite set of elements. It constructed means through that set we can make n number of sentences. There is a set pattern, set structure, and through that structure we can make n number of sentences. So this Noam Chomsky says about language. Second is Encyclopedia Britannica, which says language a system of conversational, spoken, manual, signed, or written symbols by means of which human beings, as members of a social group and participate in its culture, express themselves. So it says that it's a system of conventional spoken There is a convention of spoken manual sign. There is a symbols or written symbols, maybe sound through sound. There is a symbol and written symbols which human beings as a member of social group participate in its culture. There is a discourse, there is a participation, and in that participation we use this language, and which is made up of symbols, which is made up of some signs. So that is which the Encyclopedia Britannica says about language. Now, characteristics of language. There are certain characteristics of language. Language has a characteristics. Every language of the world has these characteristics. So, first characteristic of language as a mean of communication. First of all, language itself we have talked about as a means of communication. So it's a medium through which we communicate what we want to express, so feelings, emotions. We use language. So this is a mean of communication through feelings and thoughts. Language is arbitrary. So again, characteristic of language is arbitrariness of language. Arbitrariness of the language means there is nothing ingrained or nothing nothing in the word itself. Like we say pen. So pen, when we are saying pen, it's not some certain qualities that we are saying in the name itself. Naming, if naming is done is arbitrarily. It's not that something is there in that. That's why we are saying uh, just there's arbitrariness that we have given just saying that pen is this is pen. So this is language has this characteristic. System of systems, sounds, words, sentences. There is a system of systems means uh, there are there are there are means system of systems uh, means words has a system here sentence has a system. We use we when we speak we use sounds, words, sentences, and the sound, words, and sentences has a structure, and above all this there is also a structure in the language. So mm, uh, this is system of systems. That's why it's a said system of systems. Now, language is a vocal. Fourth characteristic of a language is vocal. Uh, Characteristic of language is vocal means you speak, uh, you use it, you verbally you use it. Uh, it is. Verbally use it. Animals also use language, but that is different. We cannot say that they are using language, but they are different. The language is vocal, means through words, through sounds, we we communicate. Language is a form of social behavior. Fifth characteristic of language is social behavior. It's social. It's not that it is mm, uh, it's a social behavior. In society, we use it. There is a society in which we use this language. Language is a system of symbols. Symbols means every symbol it has symbols. What we say, we have what we are talking. There is based on symbols. So, like if we make mm, uh, if we make a sound, so this is the a sound, something of that sort. Not I'm not able to draw it, but means just I try to make the symbols through which we use this uh, something of that sort. So this is a sound. So symbols, there are symbols. And we are using sound. We are making sound to use a language. So it has symbols. So it is made up of symbols. It has a system of symbols. Now, seventh characteristic of language is productivity. Productivity means you are producing. There is not set pattern of language that these structures you are using. With that structure, you use n number of sentences, and that produces new words. Or it's not the fixed one that this is the language. You cannot change it. You can change it. You can add on. You can reduce it. So you produce so many sentences, so many words. So it's go on increasing. So we can say it's productivity. Each language has productivity. Interchangeability. Its characteristic is language is interchangeability. Means there's discourse does not happen. The language is not used to oneself. Though we talk to ourselves, but it's not basically it's to communicate others. There should be another person. Means one we is saying that's other is listening, and other is saying one is listening. So there is a interchangeability uh, uh, in the language that we use. Now the now we now we go on to the next characteristic. I just erase these. So now, second is we are going to discuss is language is a mechanism of linguistic. Now we are going to study the linguistics. Uh, Linguistics is basic. What is linguistics? Linguistics is a study of system of language. What now we are going to study the linguistics, and linguistics is a study of system of language. There is a system we are studying in linguistics. What we study a system of language. Language we use, but what is the system, how we are using it, how we are making sentences, we are making sounds, that we study in linguistics. It's basically mechanism of language, the machine, the system to know. Knowing a language, how it works, is we study in the area called linguistics. To understand this, just like phone we are using, but we are using phone, but maybe we are not able to understand how it works. So language we are using is just like phone. We are using it, but we are not we are not maybe we are not able to understand how it works. So phone has a system how it works. Maybe we are not knowing it how it is working, the mechanism of phone, but we use phone. So linguistics is that mechanism that we understand how it works. Levels of linguistic analysis. There are 5 levels of linguistic analysis. First is phonology and phonetic. It's in this analysis. It is in this level we study sounds. Morphology is study of word formation, how words are formed, new words are formed, how we can make new words. That's we study in morphology. Syntax, study of sentence formation, how a sentence is formed, what is the subject, verb, object. So we study in syntax. Semantics, meaning. It's all related to meaning of the words, how it is meaning is generated, how it is made. So that we study in semantics. Discourse, literary discourse, in literature we study how conversation works, how it works, how we start conversation, how it works, that we study in discourse. uh, Now we the branches of linguistics. There are 4 branches like psycholinguistics. In psycholinguistics, we study uh, how our mind learn a language, how we a human being learns a language. Apart from uh, including this, how in by birth a language, a child learns a language, and after that, when he uses second language, how he learns a language, that we study in psycholinguistics, and problems related to the language learning, that we study in psycholinguistics. Social linguistics is a study of connection of language and society. In psycholinguistics, we study there's a connection, society and language, how society affects the language and language affects the society, that we study in social linguistics. Third one is anthropological linguistics, in which chronological development of language according to the development of human beings we study. Means from primitive life to the modern life, how man developed, the human beings evolved, or evolution of human beings with the language. So we study the human evolution with the simultaneously with language, how it worked, how it developed. Literary stylistics, branches of linguistic study and structure used in literary works. How the literary works are in the literary works, like Shakespeare's works and other works. It how it works. It's all talks about in studies literary works in a literary stylistics. So this is the four branches of linguistics. Now, some terms we are going to study which is used in linguistics or in language. When we are using language or studying linguistics, these are the terms we use off and on. First is mother language. By a child, by birth, a child learns a language that's called uh, mother language, and that is called L1. L1 is mother language. By birth, a child learns language that is called mother language. Second is second language. Second language is all after birth, or after by birth, a child learns a language, and after that, apart from the mother language, he or she learns a language that's called second language. That is called L2. Language transfer, how from mother language to other language, how he learns, that how he learns from mother language to other language, that's called language transfer. Language skills, there are four language skills, and we can say function of language. Uh, there are uh, there are four skills that we study in the function or language skills. What is listening? Second is speaking, reading, and writing. So these are the four skills that we use. These are the first two are passive skills. Listening and speaking are passive skills, and reading and writing are the active skills. So these are the four skills that we study. Phonology and morphology, these are the two terms. Phonology is a small part of a word, like sun. Small part of the word, uh, the smallest mm, uh, part, that's called sun, is phonology. Morphology is study of language uh, in parts. Means parts we study a word, smallest unit, meaningful unit is morphology. Morphemes are there. Morphemes are the smallest part of meaningful unit, uh, and phoneme are the smallest unit of sound. uh, Replaceable. So these are the three words, replaceable. So, in this word replaceable, we dissect replaceable. We study the word separately. Separate units means we study in morphology. Meaningful unit it has. Now the neologism, new words. How new words are formed. That's we study in neologism. They're like smoke. Smoke is a word, is a portmanteau word. Which portmanteau words are words which are used in combination of the two words, like smog. Smog is is a combination of smoke and fog. It combined with the two words smoke and fog. So neologism means formation of new words. Register condition of situation. Language according to condition means we in many situations we use a language in different ways. There are different ways of using a language. So in like there are two conditions, formal and informal conditions. Formal conditions, we are when we are become formal, we give respect or formality, we show that we use formal language. Informal language with friends, families, there's no set rules. uh, that's called informal. So two kinds of registers are there: formal register and informal registers. Now, lingua franca is a language which is used commonly. Means two people. If we, the common language is called lingua franca, like Indian and Chinese. Indians don't know Chinese language, and Chinese don't know Indian languages. So there should be a common language, which can be a medium of communication. That's called lingua franca. Nowadays, English is said to be a lingua franca. We say English is lingua franca. Pidgin, very less use of words. Like Pidgin is a word or term which is used for, like, supposedly two people are there, like Chinese and Indian. Chinese don't know Hindi, or Indian people don't know, or Hindi speaking person don't know Chinese language. So how they are going to communicate? They will communicate through gestures, postures. They will use certain words, Chinese words, to express themselves, and we will use certain words to we use in Hindi to express ourselves. So that communication would be called cover under the Pidgin. When this Pidgin is evolved, developed, and becomes a official language, it becomes official language. That's it becomes Creole. Inflections, when language is influenced by other languages, though every language I think is influenced by other languages, so it's called inflections. Basic, some concepts or basic projects we are going to discuss. Basic means that evolved English language. So these are the projects, very important projects. Basic itself has a project that's called British American Scientific International Commercial Language. It evolved, started uh, in 1930s by Charles K. Ogden and I. Richards. It has only 850 words. Very few words are there. Very essential words are there to flourish or to make popular this English language. It helped English to become lingua franca. Yes, this basic project helped to make English language as lingua franca. A new Bolt report, it's a very important report in 1921, focused on English literary writers like Shakespeare. This report says that we used to teach our students or children the literary works or like Shakespeare or other important writers to make familiar with this language, to make them understand this language. Evolution of English language, how it evolved. They are in England, as you know, the basic the the people were there, Celts and Romans. The original people, or these are the primitive people, you can say, were there in the beginning of England, in the primitive life, you can say, Celts and Romans. Then it came uh, Angels and Saxon. These tribes like Angels, Saxons, Jews, they attacked on these people, and mm, they were. They spread in England. Then Vikings attacked. These are the tribes. These are tribes, uh, which which were there in England. The Angels and Saxons in Jews, they used Germanic language, and then the Christian missionary after Vikings, the Christian missionaries came. They used to have this Latin language. They used to speak Latin language, and mm, and this they use the angels use Germanic language, and this Christians use a Latin language. So these two becomes Old English when this Germanic language and Latin language with the Christian missionaries, it becomes Old English. And then in Norman conquest 1066, these French people attacked, and this language influenced by French people, and it becomes this Latin and sorry, this Old English and this French language becomes Middle English. So they become Middle English, and then this Middle English from Chaucer, from Shakespeare, from evolution of this language through this evolution, this Romantic age and Victorian age. With that, this evolution made this modern language. So how this is, I tried to explain you how this language evolved, this English language we use. Uh, so this we have to erase, and we go to this. Now Now, I'm going to talk about this evolution of dictionary, how this dictionary evolved. First of all, founded by Robert Cowdery in 1602 with the name of Tale alphabetically. He tried to arrange the words in the in the book called A Tale alphabetically. Second is Thomas Blount, Glossographia in 1656. It has a word history. A particular word is there, and it has a word history, how it evolved and how it is used throughout the life, throughout the ages. And third one is very important. Dr. Samuel Johnson used a dictionary of English language, first modern dictionary. It is called in 1755. So it's very important. This date is year is important. Many times it has been asked in net exam that when the first dictionary, the modern dictionary, we can say it came. It came in 1755 by Dr. Samuel Johnson. Fourth one is Oxford English Dictionary, that we are using nowadays. It's a very important one. It came in 1928. It took 50 years to complete this dictionary. So this is some sort of knowledge for about the dictionary. Now periodicals and journals, I'm talking about this. First of all, spectators. Spectator 1711 to 14. It used to come 3 days: Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. Second one, Gentleman's Magazine, founded by Edward Cave. Uh, this Dr. Johnson also used to write in this dictionary, in this magazine. London Magazine, 1732 to 85. Wordsworth and Keys used to write in this magazine. Monthly Review, London, 1749 to 1845, founded by Ralph Griffiths. Rambler, 1750 to 1750 to 52, published by Dr. Samuel Johnson. Critical Review, 1756 to 1817, by Tobias Mollett. And Watchmen, 1796, established by S.T. Coleridge. Edinburgh Review, 1802 to 35, Leigh Hunt and Walter Scott this used to write in this. this periodical. Examiner 1800 and 1808 to 1886, Leigh Hunt and John Hunt. These were two brothers who established this or who started this periodical this magazine, and it was a weekly paper. Quarterly Review 1809, founded by John Moray. Uh, Next is the Germ. Pre-Raphaelite used to write in this magazine. Uh, Atlantic, founded in 1857 by Emerson, American writer. All the year round, 1859 to 95, Charles Dickens used to write in this. And English Review 1908 to 37, Ford Murdoch's Ford established, founded this, or they started this to for Thomas Hardy, to get the Thomas Hardy's poems published. This was specially started to get the Thomas Hardy's poems published. So English Review, Egoist, 1914 to 19, Scrutiny, Critical Quarterly. So these are the important periodical journals and magazines that are important, that can be asked in net exams. So this is all. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you.